just cannot help but feel like there is something very wrong with this reality, and I don't know why, but just a lot of the stuff that's been going on, it's very disturbing to me. I've known about this stuff for a long time, but there is just something very disturbing to me about people that can openly basically show you, what they've been doing. And it's just very sadistic about being shown all this evidence and then somehow nothing happens. I remember watching this show called To Catch a Predator, where all of these men, they would get online and they would text, underage children. And these men would get locked up just for texting inappropriate things to underage children. And a lot of these men were literally locked up and a lot of them got serious time for just talking about things and discussing certain things with underage minors just in a text message. So I'm just like, if on this show To Catch a Predator, all of these men got jail time and prison time and serious time just for talking about something in a text message, I'm trying to understand, like, how in the world is it possible? How is it possible to have pages and pages of information, of conversations of different leaders and politicians and God knows who else, and then to say that there's no evidence? It's something very sick about that to me. And I try to just, I try not to focus on these types of things too much, because when it comes to certain things just really, really disturb me. And I'm a type of person where if I feel like something's not right, something is wrong, even if it's not dealing with me directly, I have a hard time just letting it go, because, I have a strong sense of justice or what right and wrong, even if it's not, again, directly related to me, Like I said, I just feel like there's just something seriously wrong with this reality, and I am so sick and tired of pretending that this world and this reality that we live in is normal. I try my best to be positive and to, think positive thoughts and to be, high vibrational and shit like that. But the more I think about it, the more I kind of feel like this world, this reality, even a lot of these spiritual teachings are misleading people. And what do I mean by that? Well, everything, every belief, every teaching that you've ever listened to or heard, somebody created it. including spirituality. A lot of people view spirituality as like the top of the so-called pyramid of consciousness, so they call it, spirituality. That when you start to learn about a lot of these teachings and law of attraction, and positive thinking techniques and meditation and such, we talk about these things in a way to where, it's just the absolute gospel, but I'm reaching a point in my journey where, for me personally, I'm starting to realize that even spirituality itself is just another box that your consciousness can get stuck in. Spirituality, in my opinion, is not meant to be the be-all, end-all for your spiritual evolution. I know I kind of sound a little bit contradicting because I said spiritual, but just in general, the term spirituality, I don't think those teachings and those ideals and those philosophies are ultimately like the end of the story when it comes to evolving or evolution of, the God mind or your soul or your spirit or whatever you want to call it. I think that spirituality is one interpretation of the infinite or the source that existence exists as or exists through, that the universe expresses itself through. I think spirituality is just one of infinite ways to look at things or interpret reality. I don't think that it is it. I think it's just a way of describing something that's kind of indescribable or indefinable. And like with a lot of other stages in my evolution or my expansion, I've reached this point where, I kind of just, I got what I needed to get out of that stage of my spiritual or just my evolution in general. And, once I broke out of that box, it's like, okay, I was looking at things based off of, being inside that box of perception. But once you grow outside of that box of perception, you realize that, again, it's just another box. And so that's kind of like religion. When I was a part of my old religion, I truly believe that when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I truly believed that the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses, I no other religions that were relevant or contained any truth outside of that religion. I genuinely believe that every other religion was 100% wrong about anything and everything pertaining to God or, angels or any kind of spiritual matter in general. And I truly, with all my heart, believe that, because in that box of perception, that seemed like that it was the absolute and undeniable truth. But only after I expanded my perception outside of just that viewpoint, I realized that that was just one way of looking at things. And so my whole point, what I'm trying to say is, I don't know if I really fully believe or trust in a lot of the views or ideals of spirituality as a 100% reliable compass in just this existence. I believe that when it comes to certain situations or circumstances, that it may be helpful, it may be useful, but I don't believe that the spirituality approach to everything is appropriate. I just don't. I don't believe to every is just positive think your way out of every situation, because every situation you can't respond to every situation in the same way. I mean, it sounds nice, but we live in a chaotic universe. This universe experiences. And so to say that, just whatever is going on, the right response is just to, be peaceful in your mind and just think peaceful thoughts, to me, that doesn't seem very wise. Ideally, yes, I would like to be peaceful. I can. I would like to be happy and joyful and positive and all this stuff about high vibration. Like that's not the world. If it were, then why would the world be what it is? You know what I'm saying? Hold on one second, y'all. Um, yeah, the world is not all happy sunshine and rainbows. And while I don't look for bad stuff, I try to see the good in most things. I try to stay positive and optimistic. I'm trying to move forward in my life and progress. And I'm sitting here studying for my hazmat CDL right now and stuff like that, trying to do better for myself and put the work in to just do better for myself, trying to make certain changes and eat better and develop more discipline in certain areas of my life and of myself in general. But there's just certain things about this world that really just disturb me. And I'm just realizing more and more that there's something seriously wrong here. And I hate to sound, overly dramatic and paranoid, but there's something very wrong with this world. And I'm sorry, but most of the people around us, when I say us, I mean people that have some type of level of sense or awareness about them. Most of the people around us are, for lack of a better word, insane. I don't know how else to say it. Completely insane. And personally, I am so extremely exhausted from trying to pretend that, it's a certain quote. It's like, it's of no good measure to be, how does it go? Completely to pretend to be normal or in. Why the fuck did they put this on here? Okay, anyway. The saying goes, it's of no good measure to pretend to be sane in an insane world. And, every time I or people like me, have the empathy to just at least care about things that we should care about more when it comes to people that are in charge of you or making laws and rules for you to live your entire life by, that are basically criminals. When people say something, it's like people make it seem like there's something wrong with you because there's all this evidence around you that's screaming out that there's something wrong with this reality. Like, it's just something really wrong about this, y'all. Like, this shit is not normal. And it's just like around the time when the shots were going on and all the officials were telling everybody to, get the shot, get the shot, get the shot. And everybody was pressuring everybody. The government was trying to force people to get them and threatening people to lose their jobs. I mean, it was crazy. And then at the same time, too, doctors were being censored because they were trying to warn people that, hey, these shots are like giving people a lot of, bad side effects and medical condition and cancers and, just they're giving people a lot of harmful side effects. And doctors were telling people that this stuff is killing people. It's causing people's hearts to become, what they call it, myocarditis, to basically give out, and it's giving people heart attacks. It's giving people blood clots. And they're telling people to get it. And then the public literally sat there and was attacking people for not getting this thing that the news is telling people to get, and simultaneously telling people that it could kill you. And like, everybody just forgot about that. And I'm like, this is that same reality. Like, these same people that you listen to, like the same people that sat there and did that shit, these are the same people that are governing you. And I'm like, how, even like after that, how everything just went back to normal. I'm just like, how do we just go back to normal after that shit? I'm still in shock to this day. I'm just like, did we forget like what happened in 2020? And it's like, apparently we have, because everybody just went back to business as usual. And I'm like, do y'all not remember what they did? Do y'all not remember all the people that were literally just passing out and having strokes and heart attacks after getting a shot? And I'm just like, these people, I'm like, this is the world that we're living in. And all these people that were literally attacking other people for not getting that thing. I'm talking about people were getting like you know, condemned and criticized and shunned by their families. You had people in their families that was like condemning people for not getting this shot. It's just, it is absolutely insane to me, the behaviors of human beings, how you can literally make people act when everybody else starts to act like they know us so well how to get us to act. They know that human beings are very much a herd like being. And once everybody else starts to respond a certain way to a situation, everybody else responds that same way. And that's what happened. My own parents tried to get me, well, my mother did, to get the shot. And I was just like, listen, I'm not getting that. I promise you I'm not getting that. My job threatened to fire me. And technically they did, and then hired me back. And I literally like just walked out and was like, well, I guess I gotta find a new job somewhere. At least I'm alive. At least I don't have some crazy fucking cerebral palsy from taking that shit. You know what I'm saying? What good is a shot if the shit might fuck you up? And I'm just like, this is why, like, now I realize that what I really think this reality and existence really is about is, you know, really honestly listening and trusting yourself. Because the level of gaslighting and narcissism from basically anybody and everybody potentially it's going to be there. It's going to be there. And when you feel strongly about something and you feel like, you know, hey, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with, you know, how this is being handled. If you're angry about something, if you feel like something is wrong, don't let people tell you to just, you shouldn't feel that way, or, you know, you're thinking negatively, or, you know, oh, it's just a distraction. Like, no, you feel the way that you do for a reason. Because in my opinion, like, I feel like potentially everything in this reality or this dimension can be used as a mechanism of mind control. Like, everything right now is up for question for me. You know, everything needs to be examined extremely careful. And that goes for the spiritual gurus, the leaders, everybody. So I'm just saying, don't let people gaslight you. Be very careful about what you allow people to make you believe. Because one thing I'm realizing is, like I said, anytime you truly feel like something is wrong, and you have somebody telling you that, oh, you know, no, you're just thinking negative thoughts. Oh, no, that's just a distraction. No, the most important thing is just, you know, being positive and, you know, just, you know, always being, love and light about everything. I honestly, truly, deeply feel like that is mind control. Like if something deep inside of you says that's wrong, and you truly feel like that's wrong and something is not right, but somebody outside of you is telling you, oh, no. See, you're just letting things distract you. You're letting these outside, bring your vibration down. You got to just basically saying, just ignore everything and just positive think everything away. And, as long as you just keep your vibration high, as long as you just don't focus on it, it's not going to affect your reality. I'm questioning all of these spiritual teachings now, because that sounds just like something that someone, that sounds just like something that someone that wants to control your perception of reality, that sounds like something that they would want you to say or want you to do. Why do they keep doing this shit, bro? Yes, turn around, go in the second entrance. Damn. They do this shit every time. Keep going. There you go. All right. Good job. Fuck. Anyway, sorry. It's just, go the right way, dude. Seriously. But anyway, like I was saying, anytime that you feel that something is wrong and, your spirit, your soul is like, I don't think that's right. But you got somebody telling you, oh, just don't put your focus into it. Don't invest your energy into it. It's like there's some things in this world that you should care about if you feel like they're wrong. Like if you feel like something's wrong, you should care. That's called having empathy. Like I said, I'm questioning this whole spiritual philosophy and attitude and passive attitude about everything, where you supposedly have to be, positive and high vibrational about every situation. And if, you're not, that, you're somehow letting your vibration, get affected by, low vibrational things and situations, and, it's a distraction. I'm like, well, certain situations require different states of being. Like, you can't be positive about every situation. You can't be peaceful about every circumstance and situation. It's just like, who told us, or who told people that the whole point of being and existing was to constantly be in a peaceful state, in a high vibrational state? It's just like, who told y'all that? Who told you to be spiritual is all about being peaceful and having a high vibration all the time? I'm not against peace, but I'm just saying, who see, I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, these are man-made ideas, telling you that if you're not always in a peaceful, blissful state, you're not doing something right, or you're not being spiritual enough, or you're doing something wrong. That the whole idea is to be in this super peaceful state, and I'm like, listen, I can't pretend that I'm okay with something that I'm not, because somehow that makes me supposedly more spiritually evolved. To me, that's fake. To me, that's phony. To me, that's a egotistical, that's a persona, it's a facade. You believe that to be spiritual means to be positive and high vibrational, and that means that you're spiritually evolved if you're happy and positive about everything, even if you're really not. This is what I'm saying, I am transcending this label of spirituality and high vibrations all the time, and that's just another belief system. You believe that you're supposed to be positive all the time because someone told you that being spiritual or evolved means basically being positive and high vibrational all the time. And if your vibration is not high, well then you're unevolved and something's wrong with you spiritually. In my opinion, to be completely honest, evolution is all about finding your own truth. Like this is all about finding and being your truest self. And being your truest self, a lot of times is gonna be going against what is considered normal. It's gonna mean going against what is considered right. It's gonna mean being the bad guy from other people's point of view, because from your point of view, that's what your spirit and your soul, that's what feels right to you. That's what feels right to you. And why should I betray myself because somebody made some rules and said that me going within and trusting myself and my own intuition is somehow wrong, is somehow flawed, is somehow unevolved, is somehow low vibrational, is somehow making somebody upset or feeling bad. It's like the movie The Matrix said, you have to let it all go. All these beliefs, all these teachings, all these philosophies, you have to let it all go. To be truly awake is letting everything go outside of what feels true and real and right and authentic and genuine to you and your soul. This is not about what other people think. This is not about spiritual. This is not about having a high vibration. This is not about being positive. This is about being truly alive in yourself. And there's no right way to do that outside of what feels right and true to you. This is truly about being present right here, right now, in yourself. This is not about listening to other people. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, sorry. So I actually paused the video for a second. But back to the video. Yeah, like I said, there's just something very disturbing to me about, living in a place, in a country where the public is shown a bunch of documents basically showing horrible, horrific things happening, and then it's almost like it was deliberately done that way to basically show people like, yeah, y'all had all these conspiracy theories all these years. It's like, yeah, like we did it, we're doing it. What do you want to do about it? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a slap in the people's faces that were basically saying these things for years, and then to openly admit it to the world and to the public just to show people that, and there's nothing you can do about it, is one of the most sickest things. It's just like, Fauci, that guy Fauci and Bill Gates with these shots and stuff that they're giving people in these shot programs. It's like they're on camera, like outright saying like they want to kill people and And I just feel like for them to be able to do that, like they have to know that they have to feel comfortable, and they know that people are just so brainwashed that that's the extent that this thing has gotten to. They can literally tell you openly, and no one's going to do anything or care. And the ones that try to say something, people are going to just gaslight them and make them feel like, oh, they're just negative, or they're just, want to focus on negativity, and or say stuff like, oh, well, what are you going to do about it? Or, like, what can we do about it? Like, well, you could care. You could start there. You can start by caring. You could care. That's something you could do about it. You could care. You could actually give a fuck about this shit. And like I said, it's these, I cannot, I try my best not to just dwell on these things, but at the same time too, like I have a hard time just kind of like burying my head or just ignoring these things that I'm becoming aware of. And I've been aware of these things for a long time, like, but it's like I'm realizing with everything else in this country, in this world, we just sweep it under the rug and act like it doesn't exist because we're too afraid to either say something, to look or sound crazy, to sound like a conspiracy theorist, and we don't want to be that person. Everybody's afraid of looking a certain way. Everybody's afraid of being looked at as weird or strange. Everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to be seen as positive. Everybody wants to be seen as peaceful and having inner peace. Everybody cares more about inner peace and being positive than the shit that actually matters. Like, the public is literally funding a criminal organization. That's what it is. It's a criminal organization posing as someone governing the mentality of the masses. That is actually a corporation or a business. Psychopaths running a business are literally running people's lives. America is a business. It is a corporation. There's so many evidence and documents out that can prove this. And it's like no matter what you do or how many times you try to tell people and wake people up around you, they just want to ignore it. They just want to either ignore it or gaslight you by calling you a conspiracy theorist. And no, I don't understand how we can see all these things in our face. And this is just how bad it's gotten. Whenever you could see something, whenever somebody can literally come on the news and literally boldly tell people that we are in a bad, y'all, this is bad. This is really, really, I don't think people realize how bad it is. And I'm not trying to focus on, because everybody always says, oh, you're focusing on negativity. Oh, you're just, if you pay attention to it, you're going, if you focus on it, then you're going to see more of it in your reality, and you're resonating at a frequency or the, and it's just like, no, you cannot, high vibration and high frequency everything like out of your reality. Like, I really feel like that is a form of mind control. Like, let's just, keep our frequency high. So then supposedly like these things aren't happening when we just ignore them and pretend like they're not happening. And I'm like, no, it's definitely still happening. They definitely got up there on TV and showed y'all what the fuck they're doing, and then said, even though we showed y'all, we don't have any evidence. Like, that shit really happened. The same way that they literally told y'all that a lot of these shots that they're giving y'all is actually killing y'all or will cause you to get illnesses in the future or cause infertility. Like, they did that. They're literally doing that. That's not negative thinking. That's not low vibrational. That's not dwelling on negativity. Like, that's literally happening. And why I'm really starting to kind of question and scrutinize this whole, spirituality thing. I think that it's possible. Even something that was once a pure thing can be corrupted. Even spirituality can be infiltrated and used as a manipulation and mind control tool. If you can tell people to just, no matter what's going on around them, no matter how much corruption and lawlessness and dark stuff is going on around them, just ignore it. Just stay positive. Just keep a high vibration. Just don't focus on it. Don't be distracted by the negativity. If you can tell somebody to have that, mentality about people that are doing horrible things, and then that becomes their baseline of how they deal with things, even when it's really fucked up, and that's just how they operate in life. They just look the other way when horrible things are being done all around them, as long as it's not being done to them specifically. Oh, just don't focus on it. Just stay positive. Just as long as you're positive, it won't affect you. Just don't pay attention to it. That's a form of mind control. And I really feel like that's part of what's going on here. You don't think these people know that people think that, they feel like if they're focusing on negativity, that somehow they believe they're somehow creating that stuff in their reality. So in their mind, like, oh, we can get away with murder because, they think that, if they say anything, they're just focusing on negativity, and they think that they're creating it. They think that they're focusing on it. Like, we're doing it, but they believe that it's their fault if it's happening around them because they're manifesting it, because their vibration is too low or their frequency is attracting these types of things. You don't think people can hijack those teachings and use it against you and use it to their advantage? Stuff like the law of attraction. You don't think psychopaths know about spiritual teachings and can corrupt that and pervert it? I just, there's just something that's very, very wrong here. There's something wrong with people that force you to pay money to them on things that don't belong to them. There's something very wrong, y'all. And I'm tired of being told that I'm being negative, or I'm just, focusing on the wrong thing, and I just need to focus on myself. I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing it because it's bullshit. It's just spiritual bullshit. It's just regurgitated, toxic positivity. It teaches you to not listen to your own truth. It teaches you to not trust yourself when something feels wrong. It teaches you to just not be genuine and authentic because it's not positive enough or it's not high vibrational enough. We're taught that the whole point of this thing is to keep a high vibration. And I'm so sick of pretending. And it's like this reality, just seeing and just when you really see the insanity of this, whatever you want to call it, like when you really realize and come to grips with the reality that the majority of people around you are absolutely insane, and that they try to make you feel like you're insane because you don't allow them to convince you that their insanity is normal. So they try to make you feel like there's something wrong with you for not normalizing their insanity. Like, it's not normal for people to accept the fact that they're being governed by pedophiles and criminals. It's not normal to fund people that are psychopaths. That's not normal. It's not normal for people to force you to pay them money when they're not getting up and going to work to make a living. It's not normal to own something and to have somebody force you to pay them money on something that they don't even own. It's not normal to own your own land and have someone tell you what you can and can't do on it. That's not normal. But somehow, according to everybody else, it's 100% normal. And I'm like, nothing about this is normal. Like, I own my vehicle. Why do I have to still pay complete strangers money on something that I own? That's not normal. But if you ask them, there's something wrong with me because I feel like, why are there individuals that I never have met, that I never will meet, that are forcing me to pay them money on something that they don't even own? Why are there people somewhere that are forcing me to pay them money or to give them money out of my check when they're not going to work for me? They're not paying my bills. Don't they get enough taxes on people selling goods? When I pay taxes at the store, that ain't enough fucking taxes. Why the fuck do you have to tax me on shit that I work for, which is my income, which is my energy? Tax my property that I own, that you have nothing to do with. Tax I already said my check, and then tax me again when I buy shit from the store. Like, how does that make sense? I can kind of understand going to the store and paying taxes on goods that you buy, but what sense does it make for someone to take money from your own work? Like, you don't own my labor, bro. My energy is my own. But nobody sees anything wrong with that. No one sees anything wrong with someone just taking, like, we all could be so much farther along in life, but people are just parasiting off of our energy. Like, I did calculations for after I get my CDL. Once I start making more money, like, the amount of taxes that I'm going to be getting taken out of my check because I'm making more money, it's almost like, well, what the fuck did I even get this fucking CDL for? Because they tax you, they take so much. It's like you don't even get rewarded when you kill. It's just like the more you earn, the more they take. I'm like, How does this shit make any sense? How is this normal? And then people go, oh, well, you can get it back at the end of the year. And it's like you don't even get it all back. They act like they're giving you something that wasn't already yours. It's just like that was already my money, you fucking retard. Why are you acting like you doing me a favor by giving me back money that I already worked for and should have had in the first place? Like, oh, here you go. Here's some of your money back that was already yours in the beginning, in the first place. And at the end of the year, people are like, oh, I got a refund. Like, no, they didn't. You didn't get a refund, nigga. That's a portion of your money that was already yours that you already worked for. This is how brainwashed people are. They act like, oh, it's a privilege to get money you already fucking worked for. Like, that's not normal. That's not normal. But again, apparently it is. And fuck me for having enough awareness to be like, that's not normal. Like, why are you acting like you're doing me a favor, like you're giving me some kind of reward or gift? Like, I should feel lucky to get this much back at the end of the year. Like, oh wow, look at what the government gave me. The IRS gave me this much money. It's like, no, nigga, like that was your money and they didn't even give it all back to you. And then some people actually end up owing tax. How you owe something that you didn't borrow? How you owe money on something that you worked for? This is what I'm saying. This is the insanity of this whole thing. How can the government tell you that you owe them for something that was already yours and that you already earned and worked for? Oh, well, they didn't take out enough during the year. Like, they shouldn't have took none of it. That's the point. It was never theirs to take. I just have an extremely hard time with these things and being aware. And I feel like I'm alone. I feel like I'm literally in a world full of zombies, psychopath, NPCs, and there's very few people that understand where I'm coming from because, again, to most people, this is normal because they've injected all of this shit into your body, which is probably just making you docile and completely compliant. They literally came out and said that they literally want to alter the DNA of people to make them more docile and more compliant. So most people walking around, they look like human beings and act like regular human beings, but like their behaviors is definitely modified. As crazy as it sounds, they come out right. They're saying it like they're telling people, yes, it's not conspiracy theory anymore, y'all. Like it's on the regular news. They're telling people like we injected you with mRNA technology. We injected you with like technology that literally can track you, literally self-assemble. Like this is not a secret. Like doctors are saying like these things are inside of y'all. They're telling you that nanotechnology is literally in most human beings, and that most human beings now are not even normal human beings. Like what they put inside of you, you're not considered an actual real human being with real human being rights. The fact that they injected that technology into you, to them, means that you're just a product. You're just a barcode now. And it does stuff to you. And if people weren't listening before, they damn sure ain't gonna listen now, because it ain't no telling what that shit is gonna do to their mental. And they know that. How else could people get away with this kind of stuff? I don't know. Like, what do you do? What do you do? And again, I try not to dwell on these things because I get very, very depressed on it. But I know if I get depressed, that's kind of like what these people want. They want you to feel like, oh, it's hopeless. And it's like, no, I'll never let anybody make me like that. I'll never let anybody take my spirit or my soul. Like, I know what the fuck it is, but sometimes it's just hard to just, you know, be aware of so much. Ultimately, I feel like there's only one thing that matters, and that is, the source. And I don't care, how much technology or, money that these people have, or how much resources. Like, they're not God. They will never be God. They may think that they are, but these people are not God. I'm going to repeat that. These people are not all powerful. I know that they have this God complex because they have all this money. And when I say like they're not God, I mean God in a sense of, they're not all powerful. They just have these huge egos where they think that they view anyone that doesn't have as much money and power and resources, in the sense of things that they have access to, connections, resources. They got people in their back pockets. So they're able to do a lot of things and pull a lot of strings that the average person can't, because of just the amount of money or fake money, which is printed, that they have it. But it's all a mind game. It's all cap. It's all just mental manipulation, because money ultimately isn't real. What's real is the fact that they've been soul harvesting people, or harvesting people for their energy. And through harvesting people, they've acquired resources that give this illusion of, oh, they have all this power. But they really don't, though. They really don't. It's a mind game. It really is. It's all about a mind game. These same people would have you to think that you deserve to live in the dirt, you deserve to be beneath them, that you're just so, inferior to them. And it's just, it's all a mind fuck. That's their whole game. They need you to believe that you're inferior to them, because that's their whole play. Their whole play is, you need to feel like they're better than you. You need to feel like they need you to feel like they need you to believe that, you don't deserve to be free, that you don't deserve to experience life and all that it has to offer, because, they're better than you. They're more intellectual than you. These people literally believe that, everybody else is basically like cattle, because they feel like they're more evolved than everybody else. And it's all cap. It's all things that a narcissist would need you to believe to keep you in the level of consciousness, in the physical dirt that they need you to be in, for them to keep manipulating you and using and abusing you. They need you to see yourself as less than and lower than them. That's how they can justify why they can keep doing what they're doing. They just need you to believe that they're so high and superior to you. They're smarter than you.
And it's like they're not. We all share the same source code of universal energy flowing through our being. It's no different. We're all made of the same stuff. Now, whether they pollute your body with their foods that makes it harder for you to, for your cerebral, capacities to work optimally, I do believe they're doing that, which is tricking people into believing that they're not as intelligent and intellectual as they actually are, because we're all brilliant. But when you're poisoning the food supply, poisoning the air supply, heavy metals in the food, it can affect your brain function and your cerebral capacity. And so, because you're operating not at your peak capacity, where they're eating, more than likely like non-contaminated food, of course they're going to be operating at a higher mental capacity because they're not eating poison food. They're not injecting themselves and their children and their families with poison, labeling it as some type of, shot for your health and stuff like that. They're not doing that. Their whole entire food supply is completely different. And here's the thing. They poison you and then gaslight you. They'll poison you, they'll poison your mind and poison your body, and then have the nerve, when that stuff affects your mind and your intellectual capability, to sit up here and act like, oh, they're just better than you and smarter than you, when they're sitting here feeding you shit that's making you be like that. They're sitting here making you work yourself half to death, and you don't have anything left for yourself, no creative energy to create things in your life and in your reality to add, just creative things all around you, because you don't have any creative energy left for yourself. And then they have the nerve to say, oh, you're not creative. It's like, no, I don't have anything left because I'm working myself to death half the time. Most people don't have any energy because they're just working too damn much. And then they call you lazy. They call you lazy because they're sitting here energy harvesting you for all that you have mentally and physically. Then the food's bad. You're not getting enough sleep. When you don't get enough sleep, that's like, makes all that like way worse. Because of this, modern society where everyone's told that, no matter how hard they're working, they need to work harder. If you don't have 2 and 3 jobs, oh, you're lazy. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had my supervisor just texted me, but yeah, they gaslight you and make you feel like you're doing something wrong when it's like, no, like, you're not lazy, because what I'm saying, it's just like this culture that we live in. It's just like it seems like the harder you work, the less it matters. Like, literally, the harder you work, the less you get. If you work overtime, you work more hours, you get taxed more. So like they're telling you that you need to work more. Not only are they saying you need to work more, but when you work more, you get taxed more. And then when you get taxed more, it's like inflation. It's like, there's inflation and everything is going up. And then again, like taxes are going up. And then, it's just like the prices of everything is going up. And it's like, why am I working this hard? Like, what is the point? What's the point? It's like I'm getting punished for working harder because you're taking money. The whole reason why I was working more hours and working harder or got a better paying job was to get that much more money. But if you're going to tax me that much more money, it's almost like I didn't even get the extra income or get the higher pay increase. But again, like most people are so brainwashed that it's just normal. Nothing's wrong with that. It's just taxes. We all have taxes. I'm just like, I'm tired of pretending. Like this is literally will drive you insane if you let it. I feel like I have to put on this act and this facade just so, I'm not attacked and called negative and told that, oh, you're not thankful. Oh, like, I really have to play this role like, oh, yeah, everything's fine, and it's just like, no, like, it's definitely not okay. Like, nothing about this is okay, but like, America is like this thing where, it's really, really good at presenting itself on the surface. Like, everything is great, there's like this facade, everyone's wearing this mask, like, yeah, everything's fine, everything's normal. And really it's not. This shit is batshit crazy. But on the surface, like, this America, but even the world is starting to look at America like, y'all niggas is crazy. The fuck y'all got going on? Like, it's very, very clear that something is seriously wrong with this country. I mean, I know every country has its issues, but I think what makes America so weird, fucked up, is America is really good at presenting this picture of like, oh yeah, everybody wants to be here, and on some levels, maybe compared to other countries, yeah, but even when other people get here, they start to realize that even like in the past when people came here, it was bad. It was still bad, but like now it's like even immigrants that get here, the real immigrants, like they realize like, shit, I could have just stayed where I was at. Like I said, I really hate that, I had to stop smoking because normally, this stuff is in the back of my mind. And I've known about these things for a very long time. But, with me getting my CDL and the process of getting that, going to school, I can't smoke. How I dealt with this was just, I used to just roll up because it's like you aware of this shit. But, I just kind of just was just smoking. That's how, because for me personally, it's very hard to exist in a world and try your best to just kind of ignore it because what else are you going to do? It's very hard to exist in a world that you know for a fact is very corrupt and very, very sick. Like, I'm sorry, America's very sick in a lot of ways. It's not that I'm just trying to be negative and just pessimistic, but I know like America's sick between the social media, between just men and women, like everybody's comparing themselves, everybody's super materialistic with this whole Epstein thing, just with we're not really, there's no real sense of connection anymore. Everybody's, like I said, everyone's comparing themselves, judging themselves on social media. Everybody's just worried about the wrong thing. Nothing is real or sacred anymore. Everybody is just money hungry and greedy and worried about status and shit that ultimately doesn't really matter. It's this money over everything type attitude and energy about everything, this overly capitalistic, energy and attitude about everything. Everything is commercialized. Spirituality is commercialized. Love is commercialized. Healing is commercialized. Everything is just an ad. Everything is just everything is about selling you something. Everybody wants to sell you something. Everything's about, what you got and how you look and who you're with and how you look with them. Not about how you feel about the person you're with. Not about the kind of true, deep, spiritual connection that you have. Everything's superficial. Everything is fake. Nothing is real anymore. Everybody's so fucking greedy. The food, shit. The food is poison. The air is poison. The schools suck. The food sucks. Love, true, genuine, romantic love doesn't even exist anymore. Everything is transactional. Everything is transactional. Love is transactional. Romance is transactional. Hold on, y'all. I got a truck coming up here.
Sorry, y'all. I had to tell this driver where to park at. I find it very interesting now watching the truck drivers back their trucks in and park and stuff like that. Because I be trying to watch and imagine, like, how I gotta. Because I'm going to be doing this soon. So I just find it very interesting. Just watching them back into the loading docks and stuff like that. Because I'm going to be having to learn how to do these maneuvers and stuff like that. And I just get a lot of visual experience. I watch how they back. Like right now, he's backing in. He's basically lining it up the first time. Then he'll pull forward and then kind of align straighter. So I'm kind of just looking how they do it. When they first are trying to back into a parking space or something like that, they'll kind of do their first, I guess, half line up, and then like they'll pull up again, straighten out, and then that usually what it looks like is allows them to go straight back into whatever bay they're trying to back into. I'm taking in all this stuff. Even like today when I stopped at the gas station, there was a tanker truck unloading fuel, and I asked him, I was like, because I didn't want to ask him at first. It was a complete stranger. I was like, hey, do you make good money, like, doing this? Because I'm trying to like do research and find out like what's the best kind of way because there's different ways to drive trucks. You can do like over the road, you can do local, you can do regional. And so like with over the road, you're usually like out on the road driving for like 2 and 3 weeks at a time. And then like with regional, you're normally home like every, 2 to, every 1, 2, 3 days. And then local, you're pretty much home like every day. So, if I can get something, there's a potential to make a lot more money over the road, but I don't really want to be on a road like 2 to 3 weeks at a time because I want to have a life, but it's just different ways to drive trucks. Some people like over the road because they don't have a life, but it's just different ways to do it. So, but he was like, he makes good money doing it. He was like, as a black guy, he was like, he's like, he's home every night. And he was like, you just need to make sure you have your hazmat and your tanker endorsement, which I'm working on my hazmat right now. And I have to get my tanker endorsement, which is basically tanker is the big, kind of long cylinder like containers that they haul fuel in. So I have to basically take that portion of the test. Hold on 1 second, y'all. All right, I'm back, y'all. I clocked out just now. I forgot what time it was, so my bad. But yeah, I'm about to end this live stream, y'all. I be needing a vent sometimes because this world, like mentally, it can just kind of get you. It can just kind of get to you sometime, but I'm a firm believer. I'm not going to let nobody or nothing about this world like just get me so low where I just know, like, I will never allow anybody to feel like they have that much power over me, because ultimately I believe in a higher power, even though like, I can't fully understand or define what that higher power is. I believe that, this mystery that we call life, that we all have a mysterious power that, is unexplainable. Everybody. So, I do believe that, you can give people, like I said, it's a mental thing. And I know that kind of contradicts some of the things that I said, but, this is a mental, I don't call call it game because it's a game, but it's not a game. It's very serious in many ways. But one of the things I'm realizing and learning is you have to get very, very firm, and you have to be very strong about your mental, your mind, and your perception, because the mental perception is everything. People can convince you that things are okay and acceptable, that you really should not be accepting as normal. And if they can convince you and mind control you into accepting certain things and conditions as normal, then that can become your reality. And so I think the biggest thing is to truly don't let anybody mold your views on what is normal and what's not, except for you. Your consciousness, so your soul awareness, your center point of your awareness is the only thing that matters in your subjective universe. Yes, you want to take other people into consideration, into the sense of, you want to show care and compassion. But when it comes to your truth and your sense of right and wrong and your sense of morality and what you feel is right from deep within, or is not right from within inside your soul or your heart or your essence or your source, whatever you want to call it, that's the voice that you need to follow. You need to listen to, because everybody else, the news, your family, society, whenever you try to stand up for something, if everybody else is being controlled or manipulated or brainwashed, all they're going to try to do is to get you to mold to that same brainwashed reality or society that they have been manipulated or molded to become a part of. No, you have to follow yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to trust in yourself and know that people or a collective will form or manifest out of what your truth is and what you believe to be true. And others will join you in helping to create a like-minded reality. You don't get pulled into a reality that deep within is not true. Is not real. You feel it's wrong, that this is wrong, this is not right. I don't believe in this. This feels wrong. The way that people are living feels wrong. The way that I'm having to work just to survive, it feels wrong. The way that people are parasiting off of my energy and my life force, it feels wrong. I'm not getting what I deserve for working hard. This feels wrong. You feel like that for a reason. Listen to it. You're not lazy. You're not entitled. You know that something is not right. Don't second guess yourself. Trust yourself. Trust that what you feel is real, what you feel is true. You're not feeling the way that you're feeling because you're complaining, or you're just being paranoid. No, that's your true self, your true essence, your soul, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, is communicating to you and letting you know what's really real, what's really real, opposed to versus what other things are trying to manipulate you or trying to get you to adopt or make normal. That's not right to you. That's not normal to you. That's insanity to you. That's mind control from where you're standing. Trust yourself. Anyway, I'm going to end it here, y'all. Later.